We saw thousands and thousands of people taking a knee in protest of the death of George Floyd. Should those people be allowed to sit in the jury, or should the judge excuse them?
It's all about the questions and the answers posed by the prosecutors and the defense. So you can be against racism and you can protest.
No, you're protesting this case, Holly. I'm talking about this case. These people laying down in front of the courthouse.
Yes.
People who took a knee right after George Floyd. Those people, can they be fair and impartial, or does the judge need to excuse them?
The people that are protesting and are not lying down from the courthouse and taking the bullhorn and being the leaders, those are going to be the people that you can elicit the response from and say, I am unable, despite listening to the judge's instructions, I am unable to follow the court's instructions and be an impartial juror. But the questions have to be asked by the prosecutors and by the defense of every single person. Because if you look at everybody's social media page across this country...
We'll get to social media in a second. We're going to get to social media. Trust me, I got some things I'm going to put up for everybody. Let's put one up then. All right, let's put the first one up, which is what happened today. And let me ask you, Salman, if someone posted this, let's put it up. This is posted by The Hill today. There it is. Let's say someone posted that in support of George Floyd. This wasn't a person, but let's say a person posted that or shared that on their Facebook page or on their Twitter feed. Is that someone who should immediately be dismissed from jury duty by the judge?
I mean, speaking as a defense attorney myself, I wouldn't want anybody that was involved in the
I know you don't want
on my
them,
jury.
but should the judge do it? Should the judge, not your peremptory challenge,
I think
the judge.
I think that the judge should. Absolutely, I think that the judge should, because someone has already taken a position there that they're supporting the protest, they're supporting what these people are standing up for. Look, the protest isn't a general protest against necessarily police brutality altogether like we've seen in the past couple months. This is a protest directed specifically to the George Floyd trial as it stands today. These are people specifically thinking about George Floyd. It's directed. So I would absolutely say that these people should be dismissed from the jury by the judge.
All right, I've got another one for you. Andrew, we can't breathe. Let's put it up. This was posted on social media. Let's say you are posting "We Can't Breathe Justice," okay? Obviously, some reference to George Floyd case there. The person who posted or shared this, should they be dismissed by the judge?
No, not automatically, and not based on just that post. And as Holly said, you got to ask an additional question. If someone is posting that because they are saying George Floyd was murdered and that's why they're speaking out, we can't breathe, then yes, they should be excused from the jury. But if someone's just making the point to stand up against racial injustice or to join in rallies going across the country, and you don't really know how much they're voicing an opinion on this particular case, you can't just start excluding everybody because the whole world knows about this case. You're going to be left with no jury.
Everybody knows about it, but again, these are people that have taken it one step further, right? Let me put another one up here. And this one is posted by millions. No, wrong one. Wrong one. The other one. We'll get the other one up there. We got that one coming up next. But let's put the other. No, not that one. You know which one I want. The one from Maria. Let's put it up. It's been shared by millions and millions and millions of people have posted this. Is that a reason for them to not be able to sit on the jury? Holly.
I'm still going to say no, Vinny. It's not a reason to have the judge exclude them automatically just because they want to end racism. That's the point I was making earlier with you. Just because you are against racism does not mean that you cannot listen to the facts of this case. And by the way, not all the facts of this case have come out. That's the point of the trial. And a good prosecutor and a good advocate elicits that bias out of that juror, and then the judge can then make the cause to the strike for cause. So if you post, for example, that you want to end racism and fight police brutality, perhaps police brutality did not exist in this case in the way that you know, and when you've made the first posting. So you can't just automatically exclude people for taking positions generally. Now, if someone was lying outside of the courthouse today, for example, that you were talking about earlier, lying outside the courthouse today, lying on the ground and refusing to move because of the George Floyd case, sure. In that case, I would have that judge exclude them. But participating in peaceful protests, exercising your First Amendment right to disagree with certain general ideas, does not preclude you from being a member of a jury of your peers.
How about this one? You got a sneak peek of it before. Back the blue, thin blue line. Does that exclude you from this trial? Does the judge say you cannot be fair and impartial? Salman, what do you think?
Again, it depends on the context of it. Everyone is saying it's the context, but I do think that that does go to you being impartial, right? You've already taken a position. If you're doing that in response to what people are posting about George Floyd, you've taken a position. And when you've taken a position in something, I think it's very difficult to be impartial. And I do think it's right. You see, the public has seen this, the world has seen this case, but not everyone is being vocal about it online, or not everyone's being vocal about it publicly. But if you've taken the position of being vocal about this case one way or another, I think it's very difficult for you to be impartial, even after hearing all the facts. If you've sat through a trial and you've polled a jury after a trial is over, guilty or not guilty, the reasons why jurors come up with of whether someone is guilty or not guilty sometimes have nothing to do with the case. It just has to do with their opinions about the person or about what they think the facts are, or someone sitting in the defense chair or the prosecutor's chair. Unfortunately, that's the case. That's the real world of jurors that we work with. So if someone is already taking a position, I would completely agree that they can't be impartial.
Andrew, I'm going to give you the final word here on the back the blue. Is that an automatic dismissal by the judge?
No, I don't think so. And we're focused on the social media post, but are you going to ask every juror if they've ever made the comment back the blue to any of their friends over the past 5 months? I mean, you have to be able to look at what biases a person is bringing in. And the fact that they have made some general statement, back the blue, Black Lives Matter, does not render them unable to be fair and impartial. So again, it really does depend on the context. And I know we pick out these certain tweets and posts, and we try to understand and judge where someone's opinions are. But there's no difference between posting it or saying it. You have to figure out whether someone is making a comment specifically on this case that renders them unable to be fair and impartial, versus just, as Holly said, exercising their First Amendment right to free speech and making a comment on a more general nature about what's going on in the country.
All right, folks, I told you we had a great panel. All right, Holly, I'm out of time here, but I'll give you 10 seconds. Go ahead.
I love that the process allows us to question the jurors further. If we were to assume, just on, by the way someone looks, by how they dress, by what their background is, how much money they make, and what they put on social media, that they're for or against our case, I love the fact that the jury trial allows us to elicit out the truth, their true bias, and not just judge a book by their cover or look at their social media page. It's supposed to be that way.
All right. I told you we had a great panel tonight. All right.